Good morning. Okay, now let us continue with the journal entries. Okay, so I will dictate the question. I want every one of you to take down the question. Generalize the following transactions in the books of Mr. Ganesh. Mr. Ganesh. First transaction. January 1st, 2012, Mr. Ganesh commenced business with cash rupees 60,000. With cash rupees 60,000. January 3rd, paid into bank rupees 20,000. Paid into bank rupees 20,000. Okay, next. January 5th, purchase goods for cash rupees 20,000. Rupees 20,000. January 6th, sold goods for cash rupees 25,000. Rupees 25,000. Next, January 8th, purchased goods from Darshan on credit for rupees 10,000. On credit for rupees 10,000. Next, January 9th, sold goods to Sudeep on credit for rupees 20,000. On credit for rupees 20,000. January 15th, return goods to Darshan rupees 1,000 for damage. Next, January 18th, received goods returned by Sudeep rupees 2,000. Next, January 20th, bought furniture for cash rupees 20,000. Rupees 20,000. Okay, now let us pass the journal entries. I'll rub the board. Okay. Now, journal entries in the books of Mr. Ganesh. Okay. Put the format of the journal. First column is date, particulars. Okay. LF, debit, credit. So this is the format. This is the format. Now here, See, there are two ways to pass the journal entries. There are two ways to pass the journal entries. So, through modern approach and traditional approach, there are two ways to pass journal entries. Okay. So, traditional approach, also known as English system. Okay, English system, and you have modern approach. It is known as American system. Through these two ways you can pass the journal entries. Okay, now here so far we have learnt, okay, to pass journal entry on the basis of the modern approach. We have learned to solve journal entry, to make journal entry on the basis of the modern approach. In today's class, I will be teaching how to pass the journal entries, okay, under the traditional approach, that is English system. Okay, so traditional approach we are doing now. Okay, traditional approach. Okay, in the traditional approach, there are three golden rules of accounts. Okay, when it is related to person's personal account rule you have. Okay, when you will follow personal account rule, when it is related to natural person, okay, artificial person, and representative person. Okay, what is the rule? Debit the receiver, credit the giver. This is the rule, okay, of the personal account. See, when it is related to assets, we follow which account rule? Real account rule. When do you follow real account rule? When it is related to assets, okay, that is tangible and intangible assets. Okay, tangible assets are those assets which you can touch and feel. Intangible assets are those assets which you can feel its presence, but you cannot touch. Already I have explained this. For example, goodwill, copyrights. Okay, so what is the rule? Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Okay, so next is you have nominal account rule. When do you follow nominal account rule? When it is related to expenses and losses, okay, incomes and gains. You follow which account rule? Nominal account rule. What does the rule tells? Debit all expenses and losses, credit all incomes and gains. Okay, any of this method you can use, any one of this method you can use to pass the journal entries, either traditional or modern approach, but answer will be same, but you will arrive at the same answer. Okay, you need not worry. Okay, first, okay, let us solve the journal entries now. Okay, first transaction. Mr. Ganesh commenced business with cash rupees 60,000. Mr. Ganesh is starting business with cash rupees 60,000. So take up any transaction. It will have how many aspects? Two aspects. All the transaction will have dual aspect. One take aspect, another give aspect. Okay, now Mr. Ganesh, he has started business with cash rupees 60,000. What is the take aspect? What the business is taking? Cash. What is the give aspect? What the owner is giving? Capital to the business. Who is giving this capital? Owner is giving this capital to the business. Cash is what? Cash is an asset. When it is asset, which account rule you will follow? Real account rule. What does real account tells? Debit what? Comes in. So cash is coming into the business. So what should I do? I should debit cash. So capital. Who is giving the capital to the business? Owner. Which account rule I have to follow when it is owner is a natural person? Right. So when it is natural person, which account rule I have to follow? Personal account rule. What does personal account tells? Debit the receiver, credit the giver. So owner is giving the capital to the business. He is the giver. So what should I do? I should credit capital account. I have to credit capital account. So what is the journal entry? Cash account debit. 2. Always credit transactions. I have to start by leaving some space. To capital account. How much? How much the owner has invested in the business? Rupees 60,000. Okay, this is the first transaction. Now moving on to the second. What is the second transaction? Paid into bank rupees 20,000. Okay, paid into bank. He is paying money into the bank. So what is happening? What is happening? What is the take aspect? What business? Who is taking the money? Bank. What is the give aspect? What the business is giving? Cash. Bank is what? Bank is an artificial person. It has physical existence, but it is not having soul. When it is artificial person, which account rule you will follow? Debit the receiver, credit the giver. Now you are paying money into the bank. So what is happening? Is it receiving or giving? It is receiving. So what should I do when it is receiving? I should debit. Debit. Okay, debit the receiver. Cash is an asset. Cash is an asset. Which account rule I have to follow? Real account rule. Cash is an asset. Which account rule I have to follow? Real account rule. What does real account is? Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. You are paying money into the bank. Your business is paying money into the bank. What is happening? Cash is going out. When it goes out, what should I do? I should credit. I should what? I should do? I have to credit. Okay. So the second journal entry is, okay, I didn't write the narration here. I'm sorry. Business started with cash. Okay, second journal entry. What is the date? What is the date of the transaction? January 3rd. Bank account debit. What I should debit? Look here. Bank account debit to cash account. How much? What is the amount which we are investing in the bank? Rupees 20,000. Okay. So debit side 20,000, credit side 20,000. Narration. Cash paid into bank. Cash paid into bank. Okay. Now moving on to the next journal entry. What is the next journal entry? Purchase goods for cash rupees 20,000. Purchase goods for cash rupees 20,000. Now business is purchasing goods. What is the take aspect? Goods. What is the give aspect? Cash. I cannot write goods here. I should write the event name. Whether I am purchasing, what I am doing. I should write the reason, exact reason. Okay. What is the event? I have purchasing goods. What I am doing? I am purchasing goods. Okay. So goods is an asset. I am purchasing goods. Goods is an asset. Cash is also what? Even this is an asset. Okay. So which account rule I have to follow when it is asset? Real account rule. What does real account is? Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. I am purchasing goods. It is coming into the business. It is coming into the business. So what should I do? I should debit. I should debit. Okay, I am purchasing. My business is purchasing goods for cash. Okay. So what is happening? Cash is going out of the business. Cash is, what is happening to my cash? Cash is going out of the business. So when cash goes out of the business, what should I do? I should credit. I should credit what? Cash. So what is the journal entry? What is the date of the transaction? January 5th. Purchases account debit to cash account. Purchases account debit to cash account. Okay. So what is the narration? Goods purchased for cash. Goods purchased for cash. What is the value of the goods which the business is making purchase? Business 20,000. How much this is? 20,000. Okay. 20,000. I'll rub off this. Okay, you copy it down. Moving on to the next journal entry. Fourth journal entry. Sold goods for cash. What is the date of the transaction? January 6th. January 6th. See, you can continue in the same column as there is no space. I am rubbing and I am writing again. Okay, you can continue the problem. Sold goods for cash. So what is happening? Business is selling goods for cash. So goods are going out. Cash is coming in. What is the take aspect? Cash. What is the give aspect? Goods. I cannot write goods here. What should I write? I should write the event name. What I am doing? I am selling the goods. Okay? I am selling the goods. So cash is an asset. Goods are also what? Asset. Okay. So cash, when it is asset, I have to follow which account rule? Real account rule. What does real account test? Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. So what is happening to my cash? It is coming in. Okay. So I will debit cash. Debit what comes in. It is coming in. My goods, what is happening to my goods? It is going out. Okay. Credit what goes out. So whatever goes out, I should do what? I have to credit. Okay. So what is the transaction? Cash account debit to sales account. Cash account debit to sales account. What is the value of the goods? 25,000. Okay. How much? 25,000. Okay. Narration. Goods sold for cash. Okay, goods sold for cash. Okay, this is the narration. Now moving on to the next journal entry. What is the date? What is the next transaction date? After January 6, January 8. Purchase goods from Darshan on credit. Now business is purchasing goods from Darshan on credit. Okay, if it was cash, goods will come in. Purchases will come in, goods will come in, and cash will go out. Now business is purchasing goods on credit from Darshan. There is no cash. Cash is not involved here. So what should I write? I should write the name of the supplier from whom we are purchasing the goods. Okay? Who is the giver? Darshan. Why? Because it is not a cash purchase. It is not a cash purchase. It is what? It is a credit purchase. I cannot write goods here. I should write the event name. What is the event? What is the reason? Okay? Purchases. We are purchasing goods. Goods are what? Asset. Darshan is what? He is a natural person. Natural person. Okay? When it is asset, which account rule I have to follow? Real account rule. purchases. Darshan is a giver. He is not receiving. So personal account rule. What does personal account tells? Debit the receiver, credit the giver. When it is natural person, you have to follow which account rule? Personal account rule. What does the rule states? Debit the receiver, credit the giver. Now Darshan, he is the giver. Okay, so what I will do? I will credit his account. Okay, I will credit Darshan account. What is the date of the transaction? January 8. So purchases account debit. Purchases account debit to Darshan account. To Darshan account. What is the value of the goods? What is the value? 10,000. Okay, 10,000. Okay, now you have to write the narration. Goods purchased on credit. Goods purchased on credit. Okay, this is the narration. So moving on to the next journal entry. January 9, sold goods to Sudeep on credit. Business is selling goods to Sudeep on credit. Okay, business is selling goods to Sudeep on credit. So what is happening? What is happening here? Business is selling goods to Sudeep on credit. Okay, what is going on? Goods. What is going on? Goods. We are not selling goods for cash here. There is no cash. When I sell goods for cash, cash will come in and goods will go out. But here we are selling goods on credit. We are selling, business is selling goods on credit. To whom? To Sudeep. So instead of cash, I should write the name of the customer. Okay. So who is the customer? Sudeep. Okay. Sudeep is what? Sudeep is a debtor. He is a debtor. Debtor means what? Customer, those who purchase goods on credit from the business. Okay. In future we will receive money. Our business will receive money from Sudeep. In future business will receive money from Sudeep. He is a debtor. So debtor is what? Is a asset. Is a asset. When it is asset, which account rule you will follow? Debit what comes in? Credit what goes out. Debit what? Sudeep is a person. Sudeep is a person. I'm sorry. Okay, Sudeep is a person, right? Sudeep is a person. So which account rule? Personal account rule. Okay. So debit the receiver. Debit the receiver. So what I will do? I will debit. He is a natural person. Sudeep is what? Sudeep is a natural person. Okay. Sudeep is a natural person. When it is person, which account rule? Personal account rule. Debit the receiver. He is receiving the goods. Okay, I cannot write goods here. Instead, what I should write? I should write the event name. I should write the event name. What I am doing, what my business is doing, it is selling goods. It is selling goods. Okay. So, goods are what? Asset. Which account rule? Real account rule. What does real account tell? Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. It is going out of the business. So, what should I do? Sales. I should credit sales. So, what is the journal entry? What is the date? January 9. Sudeep account debit. Okay. To sales account. Sudeep account debit to sales account. What is the value of the goods which is being sold? It is 20,000. It is how much? 20,000. What is the narration? Goods sold on credit. Okay, narration. Goods sold on credit. Goods sold on credit. Okay. Now moving on to next journal entry. Return goods to Darshan rupees 1000 for damage. What is the date of the transaction? January 15. Okay. Return goods to Darshan. Who was Darshan? See the January 8th entry. Purchased the goods from Darshan on credit. We had purchased goods. Our business had purchased goods from Darshan on credit. See the previous entry. This is on January 8th. And on January 15th, return goods to Darshan. We had purchased goods from Darshan. There are some damages in the goods. Now what we are doing? We are returning this goods back. Okay, what type of return? We are returning goods. I cannot write goods here. What should I write? I should write the event name. What is the event name? What it is? I had purchased goods from Darshan. So due to damage in the goods, what my business is doing? It is returning those goods. What type of return this is? Purchase return. What it is? Purchase return. Okay, purchase return account. Okay, now we are returning goods to whom? Darshan. Darshan. Okay, Darshan is the receiver. Okay. What is the, who is taking the goods? Darshan. What the business is giving? Purchase return. Okay. Darshan is a natural person. When it is natural person, which account rule we are supposed to follow? Personal account rule. What does personal account tells? Debit the receiver, credit the giver. Now we are returning goods to Darshan. He is receiving those goods. So I need to debit what? Darshan. Okay. So I have to follow which account rule here? Personal account rule. What does personal account tells? Debit the receiver. He is receiving. Okay. But it is related to goods. We are returning what? Goods. So goods is an asset. Which account rule? Real account rule. What does real account tells? What does real account tells? Debit what comes in? Credit what goes out. Now what is happening? Goods are going out. Okay, so what should I do? I should credit. So what is the journal entry? Darshan account debit, January 15th. Darshan account debit. To purchase return account. To purchase return account. What is the value? Rupees 1000. Okay. So narration you have to write here. So goods returned to Darshan. So what is the narration? Explanation to an entry. Goods returned to Darshan. Okay. This is the narration. Okay. Now moving on to the next transaction. Okay. I'll talk about this. What is the date of the next transaction? Date is January 18. Received goods returned by Sudeep. See, you had sold goods to Sudeep on credit. Okay, in the problem, on January 9, you have sold goods to Sudeep on credit for rupees 20,000. Now Sudeep, after purchasing goods from our business, okay, so he has found some damages in the goods. He is returning those goods back. Okay, what the business is receiving? Goods. What type of goods this is? Sales return goods. What is the event name? Sales return. Business had sold goods to Sudeep. Now he is returning back. So what type of return this is? Sales return. Who is giving? Sudeep. What is the take aspect? Sales return. Who is giving? Sudeep. Okay? Sales return. Now here goods he is returning. So goods is an asset. Which account rule? Real account rule. Sudeep is a natural person. Sudeep is what? Sudeep is a natural person. Which account rule? Personal goes. It is coming in or going out. Sales return. Customer is returning goods back to us. So it is coming in. Okay. So what should I do? I should debit. What? Sales return. I should debit. Who is the giver? Sudeep. Sudeep is a natural person. Which account rule? Personal account rule. Debit the receiver, credit the giver. He is the giver. Sudeep is giving. So what I should do? I should credit Sudeep account. Okay. So the journal entry is January 18. Okay. So sales return account debit. Sales return account debit to Sudeep account. What is the value of the goods which is being returned by Sudeep? Rupees 2000. Okay, here narration. Goods returned by Sudeep. Goods returned by Sudeep. Okay, so now moving on to the next journal entry. Okay, next journal entry. What is the last journal entry? Purchase furniture for cash. January 20. Purchase furniture for cash. So what is happening in this transaction? Furniture is coming in. Take aspect is furniture. Okay, what is the give aspect? What is the business is giving? Cash. Furniture is a asset. Which account rule? Real account rule. Cash is also a asset. Which account rule? Real account rule. What does real account tells? Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. The business is purchasing furniture. It is coming in or going out? Coming in. So I should debit furniture account. Okay, cash is going out. Business is purchasing furniture for cash. So what is happening to my cash? Cash is going out. So I should credit what? Cash account. What is the date of the transaction? January 20. Furniture account debit. Furniture account debit to cash account. To cash account. What's the value of the furniture? Rupees 10,000. Rupees 10,000. Okay, narration. Furniture purchased. Furniture purchased for cash. For cash. What is the narration? An explanation to an entry. Okay. Hope you all have understood. Thank you.